back in Florida. I've recuperated from the Cape Lookout episode. My sunburn, I just have a regular Florida glow on me here. My rash and my symptoms have all dissolved. So I did not make it up to Maine yet. I'm going to show you here the my accessory to the adventure toys that I'm going to be adding to the van. So let me show you here what I've acquired, and I'm going to explain a little bit of the options that I've added to this point. Alright, so this is the 24 CRF300LS made by Honda. It's a spin-off on the 300L that they've had out for years and years. It's pretty well distributed worldwide. Very reliable bike. Really no major issues with it. So this is what we're going to be adding to the van when I take off on my excursions. I only have like 75 miles on this thing. Made one trip across town, and then been riding around the ranch here. I have 15 acres, so I've been just riding around, and with Molly on the back. I'll show you all that in a little bit. I made a little rack for her so she can ride with me. So again, this is the 300LS, and I guess I'll just start with some of the accessories. I added I'm going with a rackless bag system. I have a bag for day riding, and then I'm also going to be motor camping, which I'm not new to. I've been doing this well, let me back up a little bit. I've been street riding for over 55 years. I have under me well over 200,000 miles on pavement with, I believe, 6 or 7 different street bikes. And I started riding back in 1972. My first couple of bikes were Hondas. One was a 650 limited edition, I believe it was. And then later in the 70s, Honda came out with a 750, I believe. It was an automatic. Way back then, they had the first automatic, and I jumped on it. I had it one year. It was different, but I just couldn't get into it. It was an automatic. It just wasn't. I didn't get the thrill out of riding like you do with a regular manual. You know, you got to go through the gears, and so that worked out. And then I ended up going with another one. I'm trying to remember what it was, but I had it all decked out. I changed the rake on it. It almost looked like the Easy Rider bike, you know, the movie way back in the 70s. They had Easy Ride. He was going across the country. That's what I had. And I used to go to a lot of those, not Woodstock, but those type of festivals. I would pack the back of my bike with a tent, a minimal backpack, cars going by, minimal backpack, and I'd take off for a 3 or 4 day festival in New England, New Hampshire, or Connecticut. Went to a couple in Connecticut. The Freedom Festival, I went to that one, and a few others. Didn't get to go to Woodstock. I think that was a couple of years earlier before I got the bike. I think that was in the 60s. I didn't go to that one, but anyway, I was part of that era. And so ever since then, so I've been, and then from there, got married, had kids, did the family thing, and then I finally got back into riding again, probably in my 40s, I guess. I ended up going to a Harley. I think I had it started off with a Heritage, had that for years. Again, camped. I always enjoyed camping, and I did that with the bike. Then I ended up going to had the Heritage. Then I went to another Harley. I went up to a Ultra, full dress Ultra. Same thing, used to load that thing up and take off. That one I went across country a couple of times, or at least out to the Midwest. Did the Harley rallies in Milwaukee, did the tour, Devil's Tower, Mount Rushmore, Black Hills, did all that on my Harley, tenting, and then many trips up and down the East Coast and the Hampshire, did all that with the tents. I had my own bike group and led many of group camping trips all through New England and Northeast, New York, Adirondacks. And then now went back. Well, I still have the Harleys, but now I can't carry them on my van. But this one here I can carry on the back of the van, and this one I'm setting up. I have 2 sets of bags. Let me get back to the bags now that you have a little bit of my history. So I have day bags, and then I also have the Expedition bags from Tusk. I went with the Tusk bags, and I went with the rackless. Even though I have a rack on here, that's just so I have attachment points. There's really nothing here to attach things to. I added the rack. It doesn't come with a rack, so I added the Kimoto rack. And I did this rack because it has pre-drill holes, so you can put your roto fuel pack on here. It gives me a lot more attachment points. And then I added this here rack right here to keep bags off the muffler, and also gave me a lot of mounting points. I'll get into that. I'll get into the camping setup on another video. This one is just to show you the bike and what I've done to it, because a lot of people, this is a new bike, it just came out this year, and it's very hard to get. I don't even know how I got it. The dealer just got it in. They had no deposit on it, so I jumped on it. The other thing that I've done is I added crash bars, because when you go off-road, you are definitely going down. And you know, I'm in my 70s now. I'm not jumping freaking culverts. I'm not jumping tree stumps and down trees. I mean, I'm past all that. So if I go down, it's going to be a slow motion, because I hit a patch of sand, and I just want to protect the bike the best I can. So I added the crash bars. And another reason I added these is because I'm going to have bags in the front here. I'll have soft gear in there, maybe Molly's food, maybe my rain gear. I'll have something soft attached to these. So I mainly got these, man, so I have another area where I can attach soft bags for storage. I did add a steel crash bar, because the motor itself, you got your water pump here, you got your oil filter here. This is all cast aluminum. I don't want to hit a rock or something and crack these, so I ended up going with a metal. I didn't want the plastic. I have a metal skid plate to protect the motor here. these seem to be fine for now. I'm not changing out the pedals. A lot of people are going with the different pedals. I'm not doing that yet. I'm gonna keep what I have. The reason I like this bike, it's got a fuel injection. It's not a standard carburetor, so in my elevations and traveling, it'll automatically adjust the fuel and air mixture. These are the stock tires. I like these tires. 18, 21 inch. And these are probably, they look like 60/40s, which means 60% aggressive for trail, 40 for highway. And most of my riding is going to be on dirt roads, and I may hit asphalt to get to a trailhead. Here and there are right in the town. So these, I think, so far riding here on my property in soft, loose material, I'm happy. I'm happy with these treads, so we'll stick with that. I have not upgraded the spring yet, but what I have done is I took this apart and I adjusted the preload, which gives you the bounce. I shortened that up a little bit, so this should give me just a little bit of more stiffness, not much. There's only like a 3/8 inch difference in shortening the spring. A lot of people are upgrading this. This seems to be a weak point on this bike, but I'm going to wait on that. It's a $600 upgrade, so I'm going to wait on that one to see how I do with Marley on the back and all my camping gear. We'll see, because I'm not sure what rating to get. They make like five different ratings. You know, you buy the spring according to the weight that you're going to be putting on the bike, and I haven't defined that down yet, so I'm going to wait on that one. I added a windshield just mainly to keep the bugs and everything off of my console here and off of my chest. This is a must. Crash bars. Without all this, as soon as you go down, you're going to break your levers. Now you could be miles and miles off in the back roads or whatever, and there's no way of the brake or no way of adjusting your clutch. So you always, these are things you add. These are heavy duty. I don't recall the name brand of these, but they're heavy duty aluminum frame. That protect your levers here. Got rid of the stock mirrors. They're garbage. I got these here because they give. If you hit something, a branch, they give, as you can see. And when you go off trail, you can just fold these in, and you don't have to worry about the branches hitting them or anything. Or you can just adjust them like that. That's kind of the way I want it. So I upgraded that because I know that's a number one. The people are constantly breaking their mirrors, so you might as well adjust that right at the very beginning. Then I added a 12-volt accessory here. It's right down in here, behind this headlight. There's 4 bolts. You take out 2 here, 2 on the other side. This headlight comes off, and right here, there's a plug up in there. It's an accessory plug, and you can buy these here accessory outlets that just plug right in, and it's nice to do that because when you turn the key off, the power shuts off on here. You're not going to drain your battery by leaving your phone or your GPS or whatever plugged in, and it's constantly drawing from your battery down inside here. So I did that. Then I added my RAM mounts for my GoPro. I have one here. This is my, I forgot the name of it here. What's that say? Cord lock for my phone. I've been through 3 GPSs. Didn't like them. I'm going to just stick with I have a used phone with all my apps on it. I'm just going to put that up there, and if it rains I'll put a Ziploc over it. I have another RAM mount here. I have a 360 camera that I'll mount here on a little post. So it's you know, it's a 360 camera. So whenever I post something with that camera, you just turn the phone and you'll see, you get a 360 degree first view of whatever is around me. I mean, so I have that. It's going to be mounted right here. I added the Tusk Lodge front bag, which comes in handy. I have my sunglasses in here, sunscreen, wallet, a lot of small stuff that you want to get to a lot. You can just put it in here. It also has a clear slot, so you can put a paper map in here that you can see right through the plastic if you want to just do a reference. If you want to carry, if you're one of those that wants to carry a backup paper map, you can put that in there. What else? Okay, now on this side, I also, you take this, you can pop this off, and your battery is right here. So all I did, I also have another SAE plug that's right here, and that's wired right to the battery. And the reason I have that is because I have, being in New England riding, I rode 12 months, even in the winter. I have electric heated gear. I have the heated pants, the heated vest, jacket, heated hand gloves. Heated hand gloves. And they plug. That's the plug that they use. SAE plug. So I figured, why not wire this also to accept my electric thermal wear. So yeah, I'm not going to use that here in Florida, but although in the winter it doesn't get cold here. It's a damp cold, so it goes right through you. But anyway, so I did that. Windshield I showed you. Oh, a little trick. Just a little trick. A lot of people, this bike, if you have this, so you're getting a 300. This here, let me try. This here cable, it comes through like this, and it's the hydraulics for the front brake. And I know why it's there, because when your forks, when you hit a pothole, or you're trying to go over a rock, the suspension collapses, and then this here hydraulic cable actually comes up with your front suspension. So you have to have it flexible. I did not like it because it interferes with my screen. So I said, there's got to be a way of rerouting that. So what I did is I took my heat gun, and well, this was before I had the windshield on here. There was really nothing here. So I had my heat gun, and I heated up this whole area, and I put a little bit of pressure on here like this. And what I did is I just molded these two brake lines. So now there's a permanent, if you see this, there's a permanent, where's my finger? There's a permanent, it comes up like this, and now it hooks and comes this way. So basically, it hooks out of the way. So now when I'm sitting on here, I have a clear, unobstructed view of my instrument panel. Otherwise, it was like this. So, a little tip for you. Oh, and be careful when you do this. Try not to heat up this area here, because you don't want to deactivate this glue that's holding the soft tubes to this plastic. So try to heat up this area here, and make sure you put pressure on here. And eventually this will mold for you, okay? Because you don't want to be weakening this here like weld joint right here. But it's not welded. It's PVC adhesive that they use to, you know, connect these two different types of hoses together. But that's what I did. It worked out great. Yeah. And that's about it. Pretty basic. Oh, I also took they have a lockable little box right here. It comes with the bike. Doesn't hold anything. I mean, it's useless. So I took it off, and I got this tube, and I just drilled a hole through this bracket. This is a helmet bracket that comes with the bike, and I put a bolt through there. And you can see that this here bracket is attached to this here storage tube. And so now I have a storage tube that it's huge, and now I can hold. I have all my I have tools in here, my tire patch kits in here. It's a great place to put it. And some people you can put a fuel bottle in there if you want. You get the MSR fuel, you know, to use for your camping stoves and that. Well, you can also, I have a couple of them, but I have outside pouches that I'm going to have them mounted in. The only drawback on this bike is it's got a very small tank. So if you're going on a trip, you want to carry extra fuel. So you could put fuel in here, but I opted to put my repair tire kit in there, in tools. So yeah, so this is the 300LS. I think it's going to work out good. So let me show you how I'm going to hook it up to the rig, and when I hit the trail, I'll get right back to you here. Okay, here we are, back behind the rig. See if I can get this thing to zoom. There we go. So this is the rack that I ended up finally going with. It's the Hall Master. It's a steel bike rack. Got this at Harbor Freight. It's rated for 600 pounds. The other one I had was the aluminum version, and I did not like that. It was just too flexible after you tied down the bike tires. The actual rack ended up flexing too much for my liking. So I added, because when you put a bike up here, I wanted cars behind me to actually make sure that they, you know, see my lights. So I added these magnetic. Oh man, these things hard to get off. These are the magnetic lights that you hook up to your tow hitch there, and they stay on. I mean, they're hard. I really have to work hard to get these things off. And when I load the bike, I actually take them off and just stick them underneath until I load. I'll show an insert here right now of the bike on here. This is when I went to pick up the bike at the dealership, and I brought it home. This is the rack that I had, and the setup without the lights on it. Actually, I did have the lights on it, you're right. So what you want to do when you go off-road, if whenever you have anything behind your vehicle, you want to make sure it's up as high as you can, because when you're going into washers and coming out of washers, when you're coming out of a wash, this thing is going to drop 2 feet or more. And if you have this lowered way down to your axle height, you've probably seen on people towing their trailers coming out of gas stations where there's a big dip. The back end of their trailers will rub on the asphalt. Well, if you're off in the backcountry, you're going to be scraping and digging up the ground, possibly getting hung up. Now you're stuck in a wash. You don't want to be doing that. So whenever if you go this route, you need to raise whether you have a cargo box in the back or whether you have bikes in the back. You want that as high as you can. That way there you you can, you know, climb out of dips without having any issues with the back end here, your tail, you might want to call it. So what I have done is I went with a 2-step rise hitch height. That's an 8-inch rise, so it's 8 by 8. So I raised this up another 8 inches beyond my trailer hitch here. And then the actual hitch goes into this rack another 4 inches up. Well, 3.5 inches, I believe. So I'm up 11 inches from having it down here. This in the middle is a swing out arm. It's rated for 400 pounds, I believe. And it's right on the max of handling the bike when it's swung open. Closed like this, this is rated for like 500 pounds or more because it's all one unit going in. The shaft is going into my hitch right here. It's when you open it, you have a weak point right here on this hinge. So what I've done is I made a shaft, that steel little tubing that you'll see a bolt underneath here, so that it's a 3/4 inch pipe that comes down, and I made a little 4x4 plywood base, so if I'm in sand or whatever, it won't sink in. But whenever I do swing the bikes out, or the bike out to get in my back doors, there's a rod right here supporting this hinge. That's my only weak point, and it's only when I swing the bike, when it's loaded and I swing the bike open to get in the back for some reason, fill the water tank or whatever, I'm gonna just support this here hinge on that pipe. And then, so from here, and this is the Sirius swing out arm. It's the most heavy dutiest one I could find. And then from there, the bike goes right into the arm. And I have everything padlocked, big heavy duty padlocks. So I even lock my ramp. I've just learnt over the years, when you're parked in a parking lot, you're at a rest area, I just make it a little more difficult for somebody walking by to grab something off my rig. So this is the rig. Like I showed you earlier, I showed the bike on here. And what I've done recently is I've added straps that go from here, and the straps go up and they hook into the hinge up here on the van. So it just gives me added support in the back. I will insert a photo here of a side view of the strap coming up and hooking into the hitch. Now, our van, who makes this whole attachment, they actually jacked up one of these vans. They put a jack underneath it and they jacked up the van just by these hinges. So that tells me that these hinges are they're pretty solid. They'll support, or they'll add a little bit of support on my bike, because if I hit a pothole, if I hit something, it'll keep the flex coming out off the rear. Just stiffen it up a little bit. What else? Oh, for fuel, now that I'm in the back country, you know, where there's very few gas stations, let me show you what I've done for fuel. I have them off here for now. Alright. I got these roto packs, fuel roto packs. And then I have these gun locks. They're actually cables. And I have the owl. I have the owl ladder rack to get up on the roof. Well, wait till you see this. It's unbelievable. Let me try to get it in here. Yep, there we go. They fit perfect. They fit each one. I have 3 of them, and they're 1.3 gallons each. So basically I can carry 4 gallons of fuel on my ladder. So I have my fueling station's going to be right here. And then I just wrap this around, wrap the lock around this tread above it. So I have one fuel tank here, another one here, and another one here. And I could add 2 more if I wanted, but I figure that's enough. That's all I need. The bike gets 75 miles a gallon. It's a 2-gallon tank. So basically I get around 150 miles per tank. Let me take that off so I don't forget it. And yeah, so I have 1, 2, 3 tanks on the side of the van, and they don't stick out beyond the ladder, so I don't have to worry about losing any visibility from my mirror looking out the side. Alright, I don't know what else I need to show you. Oh, I added these here lights. I think I mentioned that earlier. They work as directionals, they work as brake lights, and they work as running lights. And, you know, emergency flashes. When usually if the traffic's backed up in front of me and I'm flying down the highway, I hit my emergency flashes so people behind me know what's going on, and then they have a tendency to slow down before I hit my brakes and they slam into me. So yeah, so I added more auxiliary lights. Alright, so can't think of anything else. That's pretty much it. This is the setup. And we'll get the bike over there. We'll be loading that up. I don't think I'm going to make it to Maine yet. I think the next video, it might be a week or 2 with no videos. I'm in a lull here. And I just signed up for a 2-day motor course. I'm going to a motor rally in Ohio. And they have adventure trail. They have a 2-day adventure trail course that I signed up for. Even though I have, let me turn this around here. Here we go. All right. Even though I have hundreds of thousands of miles on the street, off-road, and I've taken my Harley on dirt roads. I mean, I'm one of those that you've seen me in the backcountry with a Harley here. Handling the bikes are totally different from street riding. So I decided to spend the bucks, and I'm signed up for a 2-day course, just to jumpstart me on the knowledge, and then it will just be getting out there and riding and taking what I've learned on the course and putting it into practice, so it just becomes muscle memory, you know. So I'm going to be doing that. I'll film a little bit of that. I'll definitely film the rally. And then from there I'm going to, that's in Ohio, and then from there I'm shooting to Colorado to basically the Uray, Silverton area, Lake City, $1 Million Highway, that whole area. I'm going out there to a rally. It's a 1-week rally. Actually, it's a van rally. It's a 4x4 rally. I'm going to be going out there. I'm taking the bike with me. And that'll be another video. I may cut that one into a couple of different segments, because we're going to be doing 4-wheeling in the van. I'm going to do some 2-wheeling off venture trails with the bike, so I'll separate a few of those adventures, and that will be coming up here in a few weeks. And that's about it. So I don't know when I'm going to get up to do the train. I just don't want to shoot all the way up to New England just to see this train and come back, so kind of waste of fuel bucks. So we'll might do that in the spring. Clump that trip up with something else up in that area. We'll see. So that's the plan right now. Okay. Any questions? Just shoot me. Put something down there. If this was, if you learned anything here, hit me. Give me a like. Just helps me bump up in the rankings of YouTube. Although I'm not making any money doing this. This is just basically for my knowledge and for yours. Okay. So. All right, talk to you later on the next one. Bye. Okay, we're all strapped in. She's got a little room to wiggle, but she can't really stand up. She's up because we just played ball, so see, she can't get up. No, stay. Good girl. Yeah. So now we'll cool her off here a little bit, and give her a little treat. She's such a good girl. We'll see how she likes the motorcycle ride. I think that was a success. That was a success, yeah. First ride on the bike, so we have some lessons to go. But I think she liked it. Yeah, she likes to see though. She kept tucking her head underneath my arm here on both sides so that she could see where we were going. But yeah, I think it's gonna work out good. Might have to move this box back about 2 inches. I got to. It's a little close to my back, so I'm going to just drill. All that is just drill a couple of holes and just push it back 2 inches. I think that'll work out better for me. I'm a little crunched up here. Oops. Yeah. I'm a little crunched. So yeah. I think this is going to work out good. Alright guys, hopefully next time you see us, we'll be on our way to the trail. Alright, bye.